Can we just talk about how cute this thing is? So it looks like a dress. Yeah, looks like a dress, but it's a jumpsuit. Hello internet, my name is Fernandez. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, I'm a design, fashion, and lifestyle content creator, and I'm documenting my journey from being a design student to an industry professional. If you feel like you like this kind of stuff, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video, and check out my Design Diaries playlist if you haven't already. So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and this is a segment in my channel that I'd like to call one-sided coffee chats, or maybe just coffee chats. If you are in the UX design world, you are probably familiar with the term coffee chat. It's typically what you call a meeting when you want to meet with somebody in the industry and just get to know a little bit more about them. But for the sake of this video and for the sake of my coffee and being productive, I thought, you know, why not have a one-sided chat alone and hoping that people will watch it. Make sure to wait to the end of this video because I have a exciting thing that I wanted to tell you, so make sure to watch through all this. Now skipping aloud. And so today I wanted to cover a topic that I didn't realize I would need to cover in like a million years, and that topic is what people do not tell you about breaking your wrist or hand or arm or whatever bone. I thought it would be nice to cover this because one, it's nice to have a little chit chat, you know, like this. I wanted to just share some of my learnings from this experience, and also I'm very excited because I'm going to be getting this cast off today, and I wanted to just point out some things that I wish I had known before breaking my wrist. A few things before I begin. How did it happen? Well, I snowboarded in Tahoe with my family, I conquered, and I fell. And the most ironic part of it is that my brother actually had wrist guards that I made him pack for me, and I just didn't put them on. So there's that. Something to also note is that I did break my dominant wrist, which is my right wrist. So hi, hello. And this is what you call a monster cast. Kind of look like a monster. And now to cover the things that people don't tell you about breaking a bone. The first thing is that you don't actually have to hear a snap. So when my fall happened, it was a fall that I thought I was just gonna be able to shake off. I fell and I was like, ow, that hurt. But I'm just gonna get back up because that's what I've been doing the entire time that I'd been learning how to snowboard. However, it was just a throbbing pain. I was literally waiting for it to stop because it wasn't like it was unbearable or anything, and I didn't hear a snap, so I was just like, you know what? Let's just keep going. And so I kept going, and then I fell again, and then it hurt even more, so I stopped. Also, for context, I have never broken a bone before in my entire life. I've never had surgery. I've only ever gotten stitches. Like, I think I was 3 when that happened. I called myself Harry Potter because I had a scar, but she's kind of gone. I don't know if you can see her. And speaking of surgery, the second thing that I didn't know when you broke a bone was that you don't necessarily need surgery to heal a broken bone. So I went to the clinic. I actually went to the clinic just in case to just get checked, and when I was there, the doctor and the nurse were actually like checking my arm and like my wrist, like asking me questions, etc., because I also hit my head, and I really thought that I didn't break it because they were like trying all these different movements with my hand, and it was fine, and there was only one part that was hurting. And then I got the x-ray back and they were like, yeah, it's broken. And I was like,
are you sure though?
Like, I couldn't see on the monitor because it was a fracture. I was like,
oh, so it's a fracture, not a broken bone.
And they were like, no, it's a broken bone. That's what a fracture is. And I was like, oh. But the thing is, the doctor actually explained to me, he was like, if you had any type of fracture, you would probably want this one because you don't need surgery. My wrist was still aligned and they didn't foresee me needing to have surgery. And so I didn't need surgery. All I had to do was put it in a splint and then put it into a cast and then wait, essentially. Number 3 is that it might not hurt at first, but you should probably take inflammatory medication anyway. This is not me trying to be like,
oh my God, I have such high pain tolerance.
That is not this situation. When I was at the clinic, when I was first getting my x-ray, the doctors and the nurses were like, do you want some ibuprofen? Like, do you want some anti-inflammatory medication? And I was just like, no, it's
fine. Like, it's not hurting. Like, it's fine.
But thereafter, I realized that I probably should have taken it anyway, because anti-inflammatory medication also helps you not swell up and throb later on. So you should probably take the medication anyway, even though it's not hurting. I think I was going through some kind of like adrenaline rush because I really wasn't feeling that much pain. And then something that's really interesting, and I don't know if it's just in my head or if it's actually legit, but I felt my muscles or like my arm just like healing itself or something. It might just be the gas bubbles that, you know, that were constricted or something and I wasn't able to crack it, but it just felt like I was like healing, and I was like, wow, the human body is so great. So the next few things that I'm going to be covering are actually less physical and the physical sensation of breaking a bone, but more of how it affected me personally in my day-to-day life. Number 4, which is probably one of the biggest things, is that you really do feel like your independence is stripped away from you, especially with my situation where it's my dominant hand that had to be in a cast. It constricted my mobility, and also it affected the way that I was able to get dressed in the morning by myself, or I don't know, put on deodorant or shave my armpits. Like it's little things like that that you don't realize that you just like to do by yourself independently, and now realize that you have to lean on other people. Thank God I was with my mom, and my mom is a saint. She basically helped me through this entire thing, helped me get dressed, and just spoiled me. Best mom ever. I remember the first few days of having a splint put onto me. A splint is basically like a temporary cast. It does the same thing as a cast, but it's more temporary because it's like less sturdy and hard. I remember just sobbing because I was like, I felt so powerless and I felt so annoyed with myself because I knew that I was just temporarily disabled. And I know that there are a lot of people that are other abled or disabled and don't have a choice but to be disabled or other abled. And it's just like, I was frustrated with myself because I felt like I was just being like a spoiled brat, and I was just like not getting what I wanted. And there are other people that are less fortunate than I, so I was just frustrated at me being a spoiled brat. So anyway, it was really hard for me to kind of give into understanding that it's okay that I need to ask for help sometimes, and asking for some time and some patience from other people. Number 5 is don't even try the bag situation. So when I first had my splint, I was trying to do this thing where I like covered my splint with like a bag in order for the water to not get into. You're not supposed to get it wet because the whole point is to keep everything sturdy, keep everything in place. If you get it wet, it will mold, not only like literally, but also mold can grow. And there are different things that are sold online to like say like, oh, like it's like 100% water repellent, you know, whatever, but it just doesn't work, because another thing that you don't think about is that condensation happens anyway. So even if water doesn't go in, you will be sweaty and it will be very gross. So just don't try it. Number 6 is you will be less productive, and that is okay. I think when I was first injured and wasn't fully accepting it, I was just like, oh my gosh, there are people in this world that don't have arms and can play the piano beautifully. There are people in this world that don't have arms and can paint pictures with their feet. And so I was just like, this is not going to make me slower. No, like I have a fully functioning left hand. I'm going to become ambidextrous. I'm just going to train my left hand so I can just be as efficient with just a single hand. And I just didn't get it. I was talking to my therapist and I was just like, I'm just so frustrated with myself. And then she was just asking me why. And I said, because I'm just not as efficient. And she was like, why do you think that would be? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I broke my arm, but there are people who can do X, Y, Z. And she was just like, well, you have to understand too that those people have been able to get used to their disability and, you know, adapted to it. And then I was just like, yeah, no, but still, like, I feel like I have a fully functioning left hand, blah, 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 blah. And at the end of the day, I just didn't realize that, you know, I had to just accept that I was gonna be less efficient and less productive, but that's okay, and that shouldn't measure my worth. Which brings me to point 7. And number 7 is that people are so nice and so helpful and are willing to help you, and you can also ask for help. I just remember I was working with Kian, who is my intern friend at Wish, and he was just like, are you sure you don't need extra help? I was like, no, I'm just like, I know I'm injured, but I'm fine. But I realized that it's like, people are just being nice, and like, allowing you to have that help if you're not asking for it. And it's just really nice to be able to just have those words of affirmation, to be like, you're gonna be slower. That's okay. Someone can do something a little bit more efficient than you, and it's okay to ask them to do that. And I think that obviously there's a balance in like just being a potato and like not trying, but there's also something that has to be said about, you know, knowing that you are really in a healthy team relationship when your coworkers or colleagues are just willing to extend that hand to you without you having to ask for help. So I feel like this point is more of just like, people are nicer than you think. So don't be too hard on yourself, because people are understanding and are willing to help you. Point number 8, which I really wasn't expecting, is that your mind takes a lot of time to adjust to this new situation. Your brain takes at least 2 weeks to optimize your body functionality and help you be less clumsy, help you think a little bit clearer when you have an injury. And so I was really confused because I just felt like my brain kept zoning out. I felt like I was just having a hard time concentrating and so on, but that's normal. When you are injured, your body is under a lot of stress, and so sometimes a lot of that energy is like put into healing, and this kind of feeds into sometimes the inefficiency that is really frustrating. But knowing that your body is just trying to do its work to help yourself is just something that has given me a lot of peace. So if you're frustrated, it's okay. Give yourself that extra space, that extra patience, because it will pass. Number 9, which is something that I already touched on a little bit, is that it is not fair to compare yourself to other abled individuals. I think I just kept going back to like videos that I've seen of people just doing amazing things despite their disabilities, despite their injuries. I was looking back in my memory of these videos in the wrong light. I think I was just like, oh, if they can do that, then I can do it too. Stop being a baby, Julia. Stop making excuses. But in reality, I realized that I had to change my perspective on that and instead know that, hey, they were able to get used to that. They were able to train themselves and they have a lot of drive. And you know what? I'm going to be inspired by that drive and not give up in the situation that I am in. The 10th and final point is that it really will be gone before you know it. One of the reasons why I really wanted to film this video is that today is the day that I'm going to get my cast off finally. People's casts do stay on like for various time periods. From my understanding, it's like 4 to 6 weeks depending on your age and obviously your situation, but I've had mine on for 6 weeks and I'm so excited to get it off. This is the last time you'll see me with my cast. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you. But also, I'm really excited to announce that tomorrow is going to be the last day of my Wish internship, and I'm gonna have basically a month until my Facebook internship at Facebook Reality Labs begins. And so that means I'm going to be opening up some coffee chat hours. I thought it would be fitting to have that announcement in my first coffee chat video, but essentially you'll be able to click on my Calendly link down below and schedule a time that works for me and works for you. So if you want to do a normal coffee chat to learn about me and to tell me about yourself, if you want to do a portfolio review one-on-one, if you want to go through a case study and just want to understand how you can improve something, I would absolutely love to be that friend to just look over your shoulder and give some advice where I can. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, make sure to like down below, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Make sure to hit the bell so that you can be notified whenever I add a new video. And also, if you'd like to be professional connections, make sure to add me on LinkedIn. I will see you in my next one.